anger surrounding the increased fuel prices moved to Parliament this week, ironically, where it all began. Let's now give you a quick reminder of the breakdown of the cost of fuel. Now, as I explained last week, there are 9 taxes included here in total. And this is ideally one of the only areas we have control over. And one of the taxes that's included in those 9 is VAT. Now, remember, all of these taxes are passed by Parliament and assented to by the President and then collected by the Kenya Revenue Authority. Now, the calculations by the Energy, Petroleum and Regulatory Authority is also guided by law, that's the Energy Act, and that law was passed by Parliament. But just how did we get here? Beyond all the political rhetoric, the fuel prices and the taxes therein are a factor of Kenya's economic situation now for a very long time. Now, in 2018, September, exactly 3 years ago, this was the situation. Now, in 2011, we went to the IMF seeking what is known as a precautionary facility. Now, we were seeking about $688 million US, which is about 69 billion shillings. So the IMF agreed to give us this standby facility on a number of conditions. One of them was that we amend our tax laws. Why? Because like any other lending facility, they would want to be sure that the one who's borrowing has the ability to pay back. So the IMF required us to amend all our tax laws and in doing so, remove some items that were exempted from taxation. One of them was petroleum products. And that is exactly what we did. That's why we had the VAT Act 2013. And what it did was it proposed to slap VAT on petroleum products. That's how we got here. But Parliament decided that this would not apply right away and gave it a transition period of 3 years to be applicable in 2016. But before 2016, in 2015, the Cabinet Secretary at the time for Treasury made a commitment to the IMF in the form of a binding agreement where we agreed to impose VAT on petroleum products. In a letter that was written to the IMF by the CS just a week before the standby facility was released to Kenya, he wrote, and I quote, "We are committed to abolish by August 2016 the VAT exemption on oil products." Come 2016, when we were supposed to begin charging VAT on petroleum products, during the budget discussions in Parliament, the CS himself proposed postponing effecting this tax by another year. Parliamentarians said, no, push it forward by another 2 years, and that took us to the year 2018. Now, in 2018, Parliament again refused to charge the VAT on petroleum products. But that bill was returned to Parliament by the President using the powers given to him in Article 115. I want you to listen to the then Majority Leader in the National Assembly, Aden Duale, explaining why they decided as a party to impose the 8% VAT on fuel products. Listen.
181 members of Jubilee Party were convinced beyond reasonable doubt by our party leader, by our deputy party leader, on the rationale behind the 8% VAT on petroleum products. 181 is a very, very critical number, my friend. And that number plus ourselves, who are in the leadership, will go out and convince our colleagues from the NASA side. So that is my work.
And so they went to Parliament. And the session in the House was stormy. If you remember these scenes, they were quite dramatic. And this is because the members needed the threshold of 233 to overturn the President's veto to impose the VAT. They were not able to marshal the numbers, and they had about 215. Now you can hear those shouts of 0, 0, 0. At that time, they were asking for 0% on VAT. Now, let's fast forward it to this year, all right? And take a look at just what was happening in the House. Now, we've heard from what happened there. We've heard from the shouts of zero. We've heard from them marshalling their numbers. Fast forward to this year, and this debate we heard in the House this week was rather different. Let's listen once again to the parliamentarians.
Harass, and the whole thing is about IMF, Mr. Speaker. IMF have said we must charge VAT. This president is using his powers to make innocent hustlers and Kenyans suffer, Mr. Speaker.
I blame the handshake for most of this problem, and we have not been able to challenge the executive, and we have underrated ourselves as Kenyans, and we have let down our electorates.
Through the Departmental Committee on Energy does the following. 1, conducts a public inquiry on reasons behind the high increase of petroleum products in Kenya.
Quite a different tone from 2018 to 2021. Now, if we want some movement on this issue, there are a few things to note. Now, the president cannot intervene, as the parliamentarians were asking him, because KRA, EPRA all act based on laws that are passed by Parliament. The president also depends on the same Parliament and can only assent to a bill that has been passed by the same House. The motion that is currently before the House is all well and good, but it gives the MPs a chance to ventilate on the issue. What is needed, however, is an amendment to be proposed to existing tax laws that are then passed by Parliament and then assented to by the President. However, then, as is now, there are many economic considerations to factor in. For instance, if we abolish some or all of these taxes on petroleum products, where else are we going to get the revenue? Or what projects are we willing to suspend or abandon altogether? And what about our debt obligations? How do we then finance the budget of over 3 trillion shillings with a collection of about 1/3 of that? Those are some of the questions that the MPs and the country will have to grapple with if we want this figure to change. But once again, it all lies with Parliament. That's my explainer tonight.